Check. Check the mic. Test 1, 2. There we are. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Nice to see you. I'm Dean, and I'm all about helping others. It's just what my mug says. Anyway, nice to see you. Great to have you today. Lachlan Cross is along for the ride yet again. Nice to see you, Lach. I brought up some hockey in the pregame chat. We had a pregame meeting.
Don't want to talk about it. No, we're not. No,
I'm talking about it. No, I'm not gonna jinx it. Actually,
do not bring up
Jack Campbell, who's won 7 in a row for the Edmonton Oilers. Former, you get your back scratcher out. Former Maple Leaf Tendy. Fell on hard times, signs a big deal, goes to Edmonton, $5.5 million a year, $5.5 per copy, shits himself. He had a save percentage around 3, just 3 for the first 2 months of the season, and then the Oiler Nation, the Oiler faithful was like, "Oh my God, we did it again. We took something out of Toronto. Toronto didn't want. Now we know why they didn't want it." However, he's on a fucking heater, that Jack Campbell, and I love that kid. So I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for the Oilers. He was fucking great again last night. Was that 7 in a row? 7 in a row he's won? 9 in a row?
Well put.
Was he 9
well put, Austin.
What do you mean? Austin, someone saying something in the comments? I didn't even turn on the comments today.
You didn't change your name.
I didn't change my name? Someone else changed my name. Austin. Fucking rookie did that. Just going today. Anyway, good for Jack Campbell. I was happy for the Oilers. They're on a heater. They're not the Leafs, but they're still on a heater. When you're 4th or 5th in the Pacific Division, you're going to make the playoffs. It'll be cute.
The thing with the Oilers right now is they're playing like something happened. A switch went off in the last month or so. And you know what I think it is?
Jack Campbell decided to play hockey.
No, because I don't think the success has anything to do with Jack Campbell. I think it has to do with the team starting to gel a little bit. They got pushed around a bit at the beginning of the season. They had some ups and downs. It became obvious to me. It became very obvious to me that Draisaitl and McDavid were starting to get annoyed. You could see it on their face.
With what? With each other?
Well, they've been here 10 years and they've had very little success. They're the 2 best players in the league. And you gotta, at some point, you have to. No,
McDavid's best player in the league. Draisaitl's not the second best player in the league, not by a long shot. Not even close.
Oh my God, you guys!
You watch what Jack Hughes is doing in New Jersey? Are you watching that? No. You're watching Austin Matthews isn't playing right now.
There isn't even a conversation.
Nate McKinnon.
It's McDavid. It's
McDavid's the best. No, I don't want to get hung up on the best 1-2 punch. They are the best 1-2 punch in the NHL. No questions asked. But there's not a lot going on. And to your point, it's been slim pickings for 10 years. And you can see Draisaitl get tired when he gets off the ice. Like, fuck, are we going to do this again? Can't separate ourselves. We're not the team I want to be. We got the best player in the world. I'm one of them. Yeah, I get it, man. I get the fucking frustration. It's been a long time.
And I think the team also at some point, and I don't know if I think you got a couple of things. One, listen, McDavid is a great player. I don't necessarily think he's a natural born leader, but I think something has happened this year where he feels more comfortable in that room. He feels more comfortable that it's his team and that if it's going to get to the next level, he needs buy-in. I think also last year with the success that the Oilers had in the playoffs, I think they realized something. I think they realized that they can't just be a team that gets into the first couple of rounds of the playoffs on the backs of McDavid and Draisaitl. So you see other players stepping up. 2 things I've noticed in the last month. One, they become a team that actually plays defense 200 feet of the ice. They have breakdowns, and that's where you see Soup standing on his head. But we're also in an age of hockey where there is The players are a lot better, and there's a lot less separation in skill now. So you're gonna have to deal in the NHL that we're living in right now. You're gonna have a third line with Kane and Nuge on it, right? Like you're gonna have a third line. You're gonna have a Nylander coming up after you just had Matthews and Marner on the ice, right? Mm-hmm. And Tavares, where the hell do you put him? I mean, there's a conversation.
It's on the third line. He's going to be on the second, third line. Dude, you're right. You're 100% right. I mean, the best teams have two lines. You match those up, and then the game is what else you got, right? And the Oilers for a long time haven't had a lot else, and now they kind of do, and I'm excited for the fucking trade deadline. I'm actually excited for the trade deadline for the Leafs and the Oilers this year. I could care less about anybody else because it's like, okay, at some point, Connor McDavid is going to be like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I got to get out of here. Like
dude, you're not wrong.
I know.
Oiler fans have been saying it. Oiler fans have been saying it pretty heavy duty for the last 5 years. You guys have got to put a team around this guy, or we're going to lose him, and he's going to go somewhere else, and he's going to win a bunch of Stanley Cups. So they got to get their shit together.
I haven't seen him smile for a long time, but I saw him smile last night. Like last night's smile after they won. Like I saw it. I saw Connor McDavid like grunt.
You know why?
Grin, smile.
You know why he was smiling? Because he only had to get one assist.
He didn't have to
score 6 goals to get them back from the hole they were in.
And the last time I saw McJesus smile like that, he was like 11.
Listen, I'm telling you right now.
And his dad got him a Leaf jersey, a Sundin Leaf jersey for Christmas. This is the last time I've seen him happy. He was holding a Leaf jersey.
He was smiling at that. He was smiling at the All-Star game. He actually showed some teeth.
Yeah, not much.
Yeah. When
I wanted to see the video of him all banged up on the street looking for Strange. That's what I wanted to see. I'm waiting for the Connor McDavid walking around hammered with Strange videos from Las Vegas or wherever the fuck they were this year.
So anyway,
they're in Miami, Florida.
So they're playing better defense as a whole. And then the second thing that I think is happening with this team is they are becoming a team that's difficult to play against. They're chippy, they're mean. And a lot of that is Kane, but there's a couple of other players that are chipping into that right now. And last night you watched that game. It was an ugly game, and I am 100% okay with it.
I didn't even watch it. I was just I didn't even want to get into a dissertation about the Oilers and what they're doing differently this year than last year. I wanted to
up about soup.
Yeah, I wanted to say to you, way to go. Good for the Oilers. Jack Campbell doesn't look quite so shit anymore. And then you got out your fucking Howie Meeker telestrator pen and started going on about what's happening in the dressing room and all the other stuff. What do you got? You got a beer there? Moraine West Coast IPA. Please say hello before we go any further to my friend from the Hot Wallet podcast, Scott McGregor, Scotty Mac, Scott Trades on Twitter at Scott Trades, where you can find
it. What's up, guys?
We're talking.
I'm so sorry I'm late.
No worries. You're a trader. Time is money for you.
You were on the deck smoking a J, weren't you?
You were, weren't you? Yeah.
No. I was on a call with Dan Fitzpatrick. He and I were planning for
StockMarketMentor.com. Dan Fitzpatrick.
That's him. Yeah. So, anyways, he and I were supposed to have a meeting earlier in the day, and then it got pushed back. And then
when we got a meeting,
honestly, Dean, I didn't hear from you, and I thought, oh, he probably forgot I'm on the show.
No, I was I pimped you huge. I was really excited to have you on the show from the Hot Wall because we got Tesla back up over 200 for a bit today. That was kind of nice. I want to talk about that. I want to get into Elon, but we're talking hockey right now. And I want to talk about Bitcoin because I don't even understand it again. I'm back to that whole like gray area of not understanding what Bitcoin is because
I get it.
DTC. No, you
totally understand.
You don't understand any of it. No, you cannot. All right. Well, we'll do that and we'll find out because also what you don't know is Lachlan's writing a book. But I want to get into no,
really?
It's not. Well, sure, whatever. But I want to talk about the NHL because you're from just south of Calgary, Lethbridge area, Scotty.
That's right, yeah.
Lachlan's, and not a lot goes on in Edmonton. Like Toronto, we've got things like we got museums, we've got aquariums, we've got places you go people to see. No,
I like Edmonton.
Yeah, I know it's a nice little place. But you're a Flames guy, right? Are you a Flames guy or an Oilers?
No, I'm an Oilers fan.
He's an Oilers fan. Fuck, sorry, I just assumed because
do you even know me, Dean?
Not that
I knew
much.
I knew he was an Oilers fan. What do you think the difference is in this team in the last month?
Well,
Jack
I did not see the game last. Jack Campbell was not great for the first half of the year. I mean, Skinner was the lead goalie.
Yeah.
But I do feel like with Kane back, Kane is bringing a little more of the grit that they need. I felt like the Oilers were a team that was getting pushed over on their losses. And then every now and again, they'd have.
Is he still an instigator?
Spurts.
Is he still a provocateur, that Kane? Is he still the little asshole?
I mean, not. I didn't see the game yesterday, but
he's a total cock.
I love it.
He's a complete cock. Yeah,
I think that's what the team needs, though.
Well,
absolutely.
Every team needs a total cock, right? Like if I was watching this thing on Dylan Brooks, who plays for the Grizzlies, and they're like, he's the biggest asshole in the league, and he's Canadian, and I'm like, oh, that's hockey. That's hockey. He got that from playing hockey. But you're right. Every team needs a cock. And Evander Kane is one of those dudes whose like reputation you hate. You hate playing against him. You hate watching him. Like everybody hates Evander Kane until Evander Kane is on your team, and you're like, he's such a cock. I love it.
Yeah.
So you'll like this story, Dean. Yeah. So he hurt his wrist. Yeah. Patty Mahone
skated over it. Patty Maroon.
Oh yeah.
Massive laceration. Needed all kinds of microsurgery. It was gross. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he comes back like literally. I think, and I might be telling tales out of school here, but I think he came back 4 to 6 weeks earlier than they had originally anticipated. And he kept saying to people, like in interviews while he was mending, he goes, "I'm a fast healer. I'll be back early." So he comes back. And then they have one more game before, I think it was against, it doesn't matter. They had a game before the All-Star break, and he was a healthy scratch. And the rumor was that he had to go back to the States for a bankruptcy hearing.
Really?
Which,
I love it.
Okay.
Which, I mean, if you know the gambling thing,
Kaner, the gambling, the spousal supports. Yeah.
It's just, it's funny, right? And you know what?
Has he behaved himself other than going to his bankruptcy hearing and having to miss a game because he had to declare bankruptcy because he spent $50 million in 3 years?
But here's the thing. You can't get the sports donkey media in Edmonton to talk about that out.
No one's talking about it.
And I'm on the show, our show, talking about the fact that Kane. And you can just feel the sports donkeys going, "Hold on, we don't do that. He's an Oiler. You know what? Off-ice stuff we don't talk about."
Why don't they? Like, that's fucking so much more interesting to me than anything else is the off-ice stuff. Like, you don't,
because they don't want to lose their parking passes.
I know.
Exactly.
I know.
Access. They want the access.
They don't want to lose them.
So crazy. Like, do you remember last year when
we're gonna promote his clothing line?
McJesus was walking around wherever hammered with that young lady, and it's some strange. He went out with.
And you should have heard. You should have.
And we were raging about it on. I know. Well, I am. We were talking about it on the show for like 3 straight days because it was such a fucking awesome video. And Lachlan is getting like DMs from sports donkeys going, "Leave it alone. We don't want to piss him off. We don't want him to leave. Leave it alone." And I'm like, and Lach's like, we got to leave this alone. Do we have to?
No,
like,
I never said no. No,
you didn't.
I never said that.
You were like, "Should we?" And I'm like, "What do you think?" You're like, "Fuck no." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's."
No. When the only question mark I had about it is it was a total bullshit lie. And I love it when the media starts lying for you to cover your ass because you're really good on fucking skates. Somebody started sending me notes saying that I had it wrong. And this is the conversation you and I had, that it wasn't Toronto, that it was somewhere else. And it was like 5 years ago before he met his wife and all this bullshit. And then I remember talking to you about it and you're like, "No, it is. This is." And then we broke down the video a little bit on the next podcast.
Yeah, and we got like time dates and stamps on the video and everything. We're like, "No, that was like."
And I'm like,
week.
"Hold on, did we fuck this up?" Because if I'm on the air and I'm hauling somebody out for something they did, and I've got the wrong information, that's when I'm concerned about it, right?
Mm-hmm. Have you guys seen the documentary, the Lakers documentary, Winning Time? Have you seen that? John C. Reilly.
I haven't watched that. I've been meaning to.
You got to watch it. We talk sometimes about the 80s Oilers. Listen, I'm friends with a lot of guys who played in the NHL over the last 20, 25 years. Lots of stories. Lots of stories that get swept under the rug. People don't want to talk about him. So, it makes me happy that it seems like Evander Kane is behaving himself. Scotty, that's nice to hear.
I think he is.
Haven't heard anything about
Well,
spousal
I
support,
think he's
poking guns.
He's in a nice.
bankruptcy.
He's in a nice little cocoon.
Yeah, he is. He's in Edmonton. It's really hard to get into trouble there.
It's really
hard
to get into trouble when nobody will ever say anything bad about the guy that skates really well.
But if you watch Winning Time, one of the things I took out of that is like, man, the culture of professional sports is all about insulating all the athletes from anything to do with anything that might get back and make the team look bad. But if you watch Winning Time, Dr. Jerry Buss was all about, I don't give a shit. He had strippers in staff meetings. He had porn stars bringing him coffee in the middle of the day.
I remember that.
He's like, he's unbelievable. But that was the culture, right? And you didn't ever hear about that. And I'm watching last night. I watched LeBron. Did you guys watch LeBron wilt's all-time scoring record? No.
Could care less.
Any interest in it at all? No. You didn't care, dude. This is like one of the records that people said would never ever fucking be broken. So I'm watching this thing.
I can't put my finger on it.
About LeBron? He makes me nauseous to watch him because he's such a whiner. I
don't like him, and I don't understand. He is such a good athlete. He is doing like Michael Jordan was a complete degenerate, and everyone loved him, and
nobody in Chicago talked about it. Same thing.
No,
LeBron James has a second life. Nobody wants to talk about because he's fucking LeBron James. But that is the way that we treat our athletes. No, he's
not likable though. And he's given millions of dollars to charities and he's breaking records. And it's just like,
what would it take for you to like him though, Locke? I don't follow basketball that much, but
I think this says a lot about me as a person, but,
he's not likable, but it's me inside that hurts, not him.
It does say a lot about you. And I'm glad Scott asked the question because now you're naked. Now you're standing there going, now I got to find a reason for why I don't like LeBron
don't like
James.
him. I've never cared about anything he's done. Kobe,
I don't listen.
Him. Was
he annoys the shit out of me. Did you watch last? Okay, let me kind of just tee it up last night. This is one of the reasons why I can't stand LeBron. So LeBron James, 36 points away from breaking the all-time record. They got Oklahoma City
with me.
In LA. Hang on. They got Oklahoma City, kind of. They got Oklahoma City in LA. They might not make the fucking playoffs because they suck so much balls this year. So many balls. All the balls. The Lakers suck all the balls. So anyway, the arena is packed. Like, I mean fucking jammed. And I've got the video for you. We might get dinged for playing it. I have no idea. But I want you to pay attention to two things. They're losing, and the fucking Laker crowd is going absolutely bananas. And they're losing by like 8, right? And I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, it's like the game's not on the line. This happens in the fourth quarter. Place goes insane. They shut the game down, still lose to Oklahoma, who they're chasing for a fucking playoff spot. And they treat it like the celebration is on. Let's watch a little bit of this together.
They can't get the last one, but LeBron has it 15 feet away from the goal. LeBron, for the record, he's got it! He's done it! LeBron James is now the all-time leading scorer in the history of the NBA. The king wears the crown.
So
I love that. No one cares about the game. They only care about him.
That's my point.
And he also clearly doesn't care about the game.
He doesn't. He doesn't care about the game. He doesn't care about the score. None of that stuff. I was shook because I'm watching this last night. It's way late because it's a West Coast game, and because I wanted to watch LeBron break Kareem's record because Kareem's record was unbreakable. It's like Gretzky's record. Everybody thought no one was going to break that. And I'm watching this thing, and the one thing I fucking took away, the two things I took away was like, but you lost. And the second thing I took away was, did you see the video, Scotty, and all the people taking in this moment that they've been waiting for almost half a century, not watching it, but recording it instead? Did you guys see that?
That's hard.
Have you got the video? Have you got the video where they panned the audience? There's one guy.
Not on his phone. Yeah.
There's one guy. Do you know who it is?
No.
The owner of Nike. He's like,
Phil Knight?
Care.
Yeah, no, he doesn't care. No, he's like, fuck. I've got someone filming this for me over there in 8K. Doesn't matter. In fact, my shoes are filming this in 8K. These are the fucking 8K shoes. I'm not even telling you about the 8K shoes.
But he's the only one. Everybody, all the celebrities, everybody who's got their phones out recording it, and he's sitting there.
But I was watching it, and I'm like, I don't know. Have you guys been in a situation where you're at an event, Scotty? Have you been in a situation where you're like, I need to get this for posterity because it'd be great to have this to relive this on my own? But I'm not wired like that. Like, I feel like if I'm recording something, I want to watch it. Like, I want to lean aside from like fucking, because I don't want to watch it through a screen while I'm there. Like, it's not in me. It's like this internal fight, though. Every time I'm somewhere, like I went to Rage Against the Machine, and I'm like, I should really record this. I recorded 2 videos. Sent one to Lachlan and sent another one to my kid because he loves Rage Against the Machine. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking do this. I saw people with their phones literally for 2 solid hours, not put them down. Yeah. Like, not even put it. How did anybody there enjoy that last night, Scott?
How do you smoke a joint? Like, I mean,
I don't know.
You gotta.
Yeah.
How do you drink?
It's funny you say that, Dean. I actually saw this clip on Instagram. You know, you're scrolling through Instagram, and it was a clip of Post Malone, and it was Post Malone doing his thing, and it was someone filming Post Malone, and then everyone in the audience also filming Post Malone. And he's not doing anything amazing. He's doing whatever he does. And it was like, okay, that's cool. But I'm with you. You know, I will usually record clips. Okay, give me a 15-second clip so I remember that I was at the show and everyone can see that I'm at the show. And then after that, I want to kind of experience it, you know. So I'm with you in that. I like to do it
all the time now, where I'm like, oh, I should have taken a video. I should have taken a picture.
I know.
I met that person. I didn't take a picture. You know what? We may have. James Blackballed had a really good point. It's gone now. It was on the chat, but you know what? I think. Kate, listen. Michael Jordan, if he would have broke that record, and maybe he's wrong, maybe I'm wrong, but I totally agree with James on this. If he hadn't won the game yet, there's no way Michael Jordan would have let them stop down to fucking celebrate him and his legacy because he scored a basket. He would have been pissed off if they had blown the whistle and taken any more time to keep the game going, like stop the game any longer than it needed to be, because they were behind by 8. And that, I think that's the difference, right? Because it is, you get the sense that it's always about LeBron.
Do you know how pissed if Kobe was alive and he was at that game? Do you know how fucking pissed he would have been? He would have walked off in disgust. I literally remember when his team didn't make the playoffs, and it was after the Shaq Kobe years, right? Team didn't make the playoffs. They win a game in overtime, but they're not making the playoffs. Game goes to overtime, and they lose. And the team after is having a party in the hallway. Kobe started punching guys.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck you, boom. Fuck you, boom. We don't play this game for you to have a great time. We play this game to win, and that is a great time. And that is the only reason why we're fucking here. If Kobe saw that, I remember a clip with him with Kimmel, and he's like, hey, do you remember when those guys, he goes, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, why? Because it fucking still makes me mad. And that's the difference between a winner, like a guy who's an ultimate team player, even though Jordan's the biggest asshole in sports or widely regarded as one. He is the greatest of all time for a million reasons, and that's one of them, right? Is that it wasn't about him. It was about rings. It was about championships, being the GOAT on a team with guys like Scottie Pippen, Bill Cartwright, Steve Kerr. I could go down the list. Luke Longley. Who's the other guys are on that team? I can't remember. It's a long story. It doesn't. Dennis Rodman. I mean, he was the reason that team existed. You're watching this fucking idiot literally celebrate himself at the very end of his career. And on top of it, Michael Jordan is still the GOAT for a billion reasons. Like, it's not even close. It just isn't. He's the GOAT because he didn't win. He never lost when it mattered. He's got more scoring championships. He's got a defensive player of the year. He's got twice the trophies LeBron has, and not talking championships. And he played 4.5 less years. So, like, fuck, are you kidding me right now?
That's what I love about Connor McDavid as well. People will bring did you know that this happened? And he's like, yeah, whatever. We lost the game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had a crap game. I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah,
And,
I
he
got
will
respect.
Always do that.
I got respect for McDavid. We had a conversation this morning, and I got into it, and I wanted to see if people would bring up his name because a lot of people are talking about him right now. But I threw out there, who's the biggest asshole in professional sports? And a bunch of names came in, right? Tiger Woods came in quite a bit.
Theo Fleury,
Michael Tyson, like Mike Tyson, like a bunch of people came in, right? And nobody brought up the guy that I thought would get brought up, right? And I think it's because I don't think he's been known as a dick long enough. But I don't know if he's as egregious as a lot of people have been in the past in professional sports. A-Rod came up.
Terrell Owens comes up. LeBron. There's
Owens.
Actually a list of top 10 biggest douchebag athletes. Tiger Woods is number 1. Number 2 is Lance Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong came in.
I forgot that guy was a thing.
Yeah, me too.
Such a douchebag.
He went from being like a 7-time Tour de France winner to just being some asshole with
the biggest
one
pariah
nut.
on the planet.
How did Tiger Woods get above him? That's what I want to know.
No,
because Lance Armstrong cheated.
Dick.
Tiger Woods should retire from golf. Definitely not a top 10 all-time golfer. Tiger Woods is a cheater and a liar. That's what people saying. He's a douchebag. He was in drugs and meth and there's a bunch of other
horrible
shit.
to women,
dumb shit. Rude
like,
in interview. Yeah, he treats women like shit.
Phil Mickelson.
He's also notoriously cheap, apparently. Like Tiger Woods. One of my favorite Tiger Woods stories is when one of the porn stars shows up, and I can't remember her name, in Vegas during that whole thing, and I actually interviewed her, and she was telling me the story. And she's like, she shows up and she gets to the hotel and she texts Tiger and she's like, I'm downstairs. He's like, great, pick me up a Clubhouse sandwich when you come up. And in Vegas, if you've gone to one of the little boutique shops, a Clubhouse sandwich in Vegas is like $20, right? And this woman doesn't have a lot of money because she's just a shitty porn star. And she's like, okay. So she buys this $25 Clubhouse sandwich, goes upstairs. He eats it. They get it on. She asks for the $25 for the sandwich after they're done. He's like, no, I don't think so.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah, Tiger. People hate Tiger.
He'd be number 1.
Is Shooter McGavin on there? Is Shooter McGavin on the list?
Barry Bonds is on the list, though. Barry Lamar Bonds. He's number 5.
Yeah.
Pedro Martinez, number 6. Ben Roethlisberger. A lot of rape there. He was number 7.
Ben
OJ.
Was a legendary dick.
OJ. That's
OJ
a pretty
should
huge
be higher.
dick. You'd think if you behead a couple of people, you'd be number 1.
OJ. Tiger Woods is higher than someone who murdered their family.
America's fucked.
That shouldn't be funny. Anyway.
Yeah, you're right. OJ should be number 1.
Yeah,
I thought no one
This is one of the comments. Hang on. As much as I think Tiger Woods deserves to be consideration for number 1 jerk, how the fuck can you miss OJ after he killed 2 people?
Hey, hello, Twitter world. Anyway, fucking Aaron Rodgers didn't come in. Like, we did this for an hour on the show this morning. I'm like, who's the biggest dick? And I kept going just to see if people would bring up the guy that we wanted to talk about. Nobody brought up Aaron Rodgers. But then as soon as I mentioned him, boom, the text line lit up and everybody was like, yeah, I can't stand him. Even Green Bay fans now. And you know what it is? Like, I didn't really cue into my distaste for like LeBron until today, until this podcast. It's that selfishness. It's this is about me. It's not about the fucking team, right? And that's what's happened to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, I used to cheer for him. I don't pick any sort of team in the NFL. I just sort of, hey, that's a good matchup. But if there was a Green Bay game on a couple of years ago and they were playing San Francisco, I don't care who it was, I was going to tune in because Aaron Rodgers was playing and he's a great player, right? But then we started to get to know him as a person, and he's a raging dick.
Apparently,
like this whole thing now, he's making this. He's going to do the retirement tour now.
Well, did you hear the latest? Did you guys hear the latest? Has anybody here done ayahuasca? Anybody here done ayahuasca? Would anybody here try it?
I'm not really sure what it is. So
I'd try me neither, but I'd try it. That's why I got vaccinated. I'll put anything in my system.
I'm going to say this real long. Yeah, I've taken the vaccine. I'll do anything next.
I'm not.
I
I'm
took
not
an experimental vaccine. That means, guess what?
I don't need to take a drug to shit myself. At least once or twice a year, I shit myself. So why do I need to do?
Yeah. Okay, so apparently this is the deal, and I'll just read this to you because Ray wrote crier.co. Go to crier.co. Aaron Rodgers is participating in a darkness retreat to help figure out his future in the NFL. Ooh, see, this is the kind of douchebaggery people don't.
This is the douche. This is why This is why I hate him now.
Yeah,
it's like now this is about you.
Darkness is code for DMT/ayahuasca. Aaron, and everybody knows what ayahuasca is. It's that reset drug. Basically, you trip balls and you see like dead people in your dreams, and then you wake up and you're like, fuck, I feel great. Apparently, a lot of people say it's like fucking really good, I guess.
Well, hold on. Let me get through this. Hang on. I don't want to diminish the I want to be careful.
No. I know. Dude, I don't want to diminish the
impact that
of ayahuasca
psychedelics might have for somebody that actually needs help.
I'm not doing that.
I want to make sure I say that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And thanks for setting the table. Not what we're doing. I'm just trying to get through this real quick and not be too detailed. So, Aaron Rodgers, quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, has announced, this is an announcement, that he's going to do a DMT/ayahuasca retreat and go, quote, dark for 4 days and hope during that time period that his spirit animal will tell him if he should or shouldn't retire from the NFL.
Wow.
That is, and listen, as Lachlan said, take nothing away from ayahuasca DMT. Fill your boots. I could care less. Good for you. I'm a big fan of cannabis, by the way. And I would try ayahuasca, and it sounds awesome. Some of the experiences I've heard people have are incredible. But isn't that just like a normal, everyday decision?
It's a douchebag thing. It's a douchebag thing to do so that we'll talk about it.
But isn't that like, okay, I'm 40, 20 years, much money, not performing, had a terrible year. Tim didn't make the playoffs. Probably going to move to another quarterback. That's probably time for me to find another team or maybe retire. That's not something you go into the forests of Ecuador.
Well,
spend 4 days drinking hippie tea. Thing is, sitting in the darkness in a fucking mud hut. Now I've got direction. That's just, you do. I'll tell you what you do. And you do it. This is what I do. You get a little piece of paper, and it's way cheaper than a ayahuasca trip. You don't puke or shit yourself either. You write down the pros and you write down the cons. And then you weigh those. Then you make a great informed decision. You don't go into the bush with Tea Master Luck and go, you know what? You're going to help me determine the future of my NFL career in this grass hut for the next 4 days alone with a bucket and a diaper. That is not how you make a decision in the best interest of your career, unless you're Aaron Rodgers, and that is why everybody hates him.
But I think it runs a little bit deeper. Aaron Rodgers during COVID didn't want to get the vaccine. Okay, right, and fine. You know what?
He said he was fully immunized.
Yes. Here's the thing. Here's the problem I had with Aaron Rodgers when he started to speak out about it. He lied to everybody about why he wasn't vaccinated and then had to keep adjusting his story. Yeah. I would have had way more respect for him if he would have come out and said, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with mandatory vaccines. I don't agree with this vaccine. I'm not going to get it. And the NFL can go fucking pound sand. I would have had way more respect. Instead, he dances around the issue, right? Mm-hmm. And creates this all this drama around it, says he's allergic to something in the vaccine, which was probably bullshit. And then starts to talk about what he was doing to take care of himself and protect himself from COVID, which was, again, bullshit. Coffee.
Well, ivermectin was in. He was drinking. He was doing the horse paste.
Fuck off. You know what I mean? And this is the same thing. Now the speculation is he's going to go on an ayahuasca trip, and there's a bunch of them. You don't have to go to Ecuador. And
there's one in Aurelia, like an hour and a half from my house. I've literally looked into it because I'm an open-minded individual. I think that this is something that has helped a lot of people. In fact,
he's saying he's going on a darkness retreat, and everyone's
but people do this.
You're going on a DMT fucking trip.
Yeah, he's just going to go do drugs for 4 days. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just tell everybody. Stop fucking lying. And this is the bullshit that I'm talking about. This is why no one likes him anymore.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's other reasons.
No, it's a great reason. It's the same thing with
higher than OJ though. Higher than OJ or below?
Yeah, he's not even on the list yet.
He'll make the list eventually.
He needs to murder some people in that thatch hut down in Ecuador next month.
I can't believe what is OJ?
Then he'll
7?
make the list. What's
OJ's
that?
7.
Oh, OJ's number 5.
OJ's 5. Okay. OJ's
he should be
5.
0. He should be 0.
It all Michael Vick is number OJ. 9. Michael Vick's number 9. He's killed like hundreds of animals. Pets. Seriously, America's got a fucking major problem.
So fucked with fame and power and money. Like you just get away with stuff that you would never get away with in any other country.
I am still obsessed with the handshake, gentlemen. Now you're both. Oh, yeah, you did.
I want to hear Scotty's take on it.
Did you talk about this on the show today, Locke? You talk about the handshake on the show? Yesterday, Danielle Smith, the premier of your province, not mine, Scott, Locke, you poor bastards, shook hands with Justin Trudeau, and she tried to grab it and shove it down her shirt or pants or something like that. She's in love. Let's watch it together.
This is not your take. Is so
she
weird.
She tried to force him to touch it. Let's watch it together. Look at pulls her right in there. She's like, oh yeah, right at the start. Look at, she tried right there. You can say she didn't, but she did. He goes to shake the hand. These two, well, she hates him. She's been bagging on him. She's been defaming and libeling him. Everybody knows she's fucking insane, and she's the premier of Alberta, which is your province full of the best people, by the way, just the best people. And today there are 4,000 news articles on this handshake. 4,000.
Okay. Well, and not one of them is the premier of Alberta tries to get the prime minister of Canada to touch her bean. Not one of them is that, Dean. You're so way off base on this.
You might listen, to each their own. We live in a post-truth world. I feel like if they can do it, I can slide in with my own analysis. Okay. My analysis is this. She tried to get him to touch her cooter right there because she just fell in love instantly with the man. And you can't not. He is a good-looking individual.
Good looking man.
And she froze, dude. She froze. Let's watch it again. She just literally froze. Look at the longing in her face. And then she's like, oh, the cameras are here. I better sit down. He's a gentleman. He's like, please sit before me, young lady. Have a seat.
Scott, I want Scott's take.
I don't think she expected them to shake hands at all. I think she expected, we are going to stand here and I'm going to act firm because I've said all these bad things about Justin Trudeau. And so I need to, oh, wait, he's going in. I need to do something. All right.
Nailed it.
You know, and and so, you know, I'm not surprised. I am surprised at her lack of civility, even if you hate the person.
Yeah.
You know, you're a politician. You're representing the entire province. Your job is not to share your own personal feelings about someone. Your job is to get the job done for Albertans. And she can't even put a stupid smile on her face for the picture, you know,
and like, shake hands like a human being. That's
like a civil human being.
How does she expect Justin Trudeau to do anything for Alberta if you are not going to give him just a baseline of respect?
Did you listen to my show this morning?
No, I don't care for radio.
I don't care for radio. I love it so much. No, I don't listen to the radio. I also don't have an 8-track or a DVD player.
No. No.
Okay. So today,
but that's my
ayahuasca trip about your radio PTSD.
Yeah, we might actually.
That's what I need it for.
You need to walk into the forest with a guy.
So this is her. This is Danielle Smith hugging Pierre Poilievre, and you can see that hug, that embrace.
Even I mean,
that's also very sanitary. That's one of the bro hugs that I give to my friends, where you got your ass out because you don't want to touch
much
fingers.
He's leaning in.
Well, he's leaning forward and off to the side because he's
I don't know.
They don't want to
touch.
I don't know how this smells
because they're very religious in it.
Yeah. Well, plus she just came from Alberta, so she's probably got that hum to her.
What is wrong with you?
I have one. Listen, I got shit posted from
he
Alberta.
Hates it here. He only likes Drumheller.
What is the narrative in? I only like Drumheller, Stettler, Brooks, and Lethbridge. Also Raymond, big fan of Raymond, Alberta, just south of you. Yeah, big fan. and a huge Coots guy. I'm a big Coots guy.
I love Coots. I'm gonna get a vacation home in Coots.
What is the? Because I listen, our provinces are all very separate, and obviously, right? They're all different things. We in Ontario laugh at our premier. We are very aware of his stupidity. We are very aware of his oligopoly. We're very aware of his criminality. So we're consistently embarrassed. People that don't support him consistently embarrassed on a daily basis. What is the narrative in Alberta among Albertans? Like when you guys watch that, is it embarrassment? Is it anger? Is it like, holy fuck, are you kidding me right now? We're not going to get those healthcare dollars. Like what is the narrative ongoing in Alberta about her and that handshake? Because I'm still obsessed by it.
I think mostly is confusion. I wouldn't say embarrassment, but more like just seeing someone who isn't meeting the expectations of the people who expect better from people who are in power, right? Like if you watch the State of the Union yesterday with Joe Biden and and the U.S. politicians and Congress, whatever, you saw the House Speaker Kevin McCarthy stand up and clap, and okay, he may not agree with everything that Joe Biden says, but he has this level of civility to him where he says, look, if I'm going to get anything done, we need to find some common ground. And I think Danielle Smith,
Scott, can I just interrupt quickly?
Oh, yeah, please go ahead.
With the U.S. comparison, I think they're going out of their way right now to show examples of that. And I think the reason why is because they realize, politicians in the States realize, because they have 4 or 5 security guards following everybody home every night, that they've got to fucking do something to change the narrative down there because of Trump. So I think last night I saw that as well. And I was like, that's interesting. I think they are going out of their way right now to show that they can work together and that they can stand united behind a common goal, even if they have different, because I think everybody down there, and this is going to need to happen. And I don't know what it's going to take in Canada, but I think down there, they're starting to have a conversation about, listen, if we keep going down this path, this Trump path of division, we're all in trouble. Like the whole country's in trouble.
But do you guys, because
I hate to interrupt, but I wanted to make that.
No. I think you're right on.
Scotty, finish your thought, and then I got a follow-up question. So go ahead. Sorry, finish your thought.
Well, I was just going to say, we don't have that yet from the Canadian politicians. We don't have that yet from Danielle Smith, from Brian Jean, and the people here in Alberta who are trying to work with a federal government who they don't agree with. And I think that's one of the strengths of Canada. Sir Wilfrid Laurier, the former prime minister, you may remember, he was famous for reaching across the aisle and saying, look, we don't agree on everything. Let's find the things that we can agree on and work together to get this done for Canadians. And unfortunately, in Alberta, we just don't have a party in power or the leadership to get that done. Like, as much as I didn't like Jason Kenney, and I didn't like Jason Kenney a lot, I felt like at least there was a level of just commonality, common respect, saying, you know what, I don't agree with Justin Trudeau in this way, but let's get as much as we can for Alberta because that's actually my job. And I don't think Danielle Smith knows
decency. That. Yeah, you're referring to a baseline of decency, right? Common human respect, a baseline of decency. And if she wasn't moist, wet, really turned on, granny panties, all excited in that meeting with Justin Trudeau, that was a lack. Well, dude, I'm trying to give her an out here. Like, there's going to be a point where someone's going to ask her about the handshake, and she's got 2 options. She can say, well, I tried not to shake his hand, which, again, is totally indecent and ridiculous, and it makes your province look like a bunch of pussies and whiners and complainers. Well, it makes you all look bad. Like, it made that's what I'm trying to get at, right? Because there's 2 schools of thought in Alberta. There are people now, and I've seen it on Twitter, seen it online, that are angry that she even shook his hand. And they're out for blood for her because they see her as a traitor today.
That's part of the fucking problem. That's part of the problem. If you're in that camp, you're an idiot. Like, honestly, I'm sorry.
I love those people so much.
Like, honestly, I can't stand Danielle Smith. I can't stand Justin Trudeau. That puts me in the middle. I'm very worried about politics as a whole, not just provincially, but federally. I am literally thinking of voting for the fucking Green Party. Because of how disturbed I am about where we are politically. But if you are in politics, there's a certain responsibility you have as a representative of the people. Like, you chose this path. Now go there, suck it up. We all know you fucking hate Justin Treudau. Okay?
Yeah.
Fine. I don't like him either. But if he was at the radio station and I was trying to do an interview with him, there would be a moment of civility before we got on the air, right? You have to fucking separate your own personal opinion about somebody when you're responsible for not just yourself, but everybody else. And if anybody is sitting there looking at her or judging her for shaking his hand at all, you're a fucking idiot. And if you think that she did
that's all people are doing this morning, dude. That's all people are doing
fuck
today. They're judging, like, you got half of Alberta is like, that is so fucking embarrassing. That woman is not a shred of decency. She's just a piece of shit. Like, that was a piece of shit moment for all Albertans. There's a school there. And then the other school is, she promised to never touch that man. There she, and that's why I've been running this narrative about love and moist granny underwear and this, because I've watched people, dude. I put out a tweet yesterday. Let me get it for you. It was one of my all-time
the
greats.
one I love the moose.
The moose one?
Yeah. Is that the one?
Yeah,
that was
the moose one.
That's my favorite tweet this week.
And I don't particularly like the man, but I watched people yesterday just lose their fucking minds over the fact that he shook hands with her and she shook hands with him. Vice versa. Like, lose it to the point yesterday where I was like, come on, you guys can't be fucking serious. And it was just a handshake. And, like, he tried to get over her with that more aggressive pull in. And imagine if that handshake missed, by the way, we'd be having a totally different conversation, because she tried to pull her hand away. She was like, I don't
imagine if it turned into like a slap of some kind. Oh,
yeah. Some kind of wet
no,
thing.
that would have been a muff shot. He would have hit he would have gone in and hit the, And then that's a very different conversation.
Hang on, I got to take the video feed off of my Twitter of this conversation. Just one second.
Why?
Because I said muff shot.
I have a level of professionalism here, boys.
Kidding. I don't think muff shot's bad. Is muff shot bad? I don't think it is. I think muff shot.
Can you say it on the radio, Locke?
Muff shot? No. I don't think you can.
Scott,
there's your answer.
You know how the rules work.
No, he doesn't. He's been on the radio for a long time.
Somebody complains about you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Those are literally the radio rules in Canada. You can say anything you want until someone complains, and then all bets are off. We'll see what happens. Anyway, this is the tweet.
Try to find a way to defend it.
This is the tweet. It's Treudau, obviously photoshopped on a moose. And I said the people who say they hate Treudau haven't met Treudau. He made Danielle Smith melt after they met, and now she's in love. Here he is riding a moose to your girlfriend's house. That has hundreds of thousands of views, and you should see the fucking comments. Like, and it's all Alberta. Like
so
Berta
funny.
dad, Berta dude, Berta guy, Berta 41. What was it? Berta 403. Fuck you. Like, those are the literal name of the accounts. And
Can I?
Like, what are you looking at? She's not in love. And I'm like, she looks like she's in love. And literally, I know that's not the case. But I've got these guys so jacked up. And then I did a whole thing. Is like, there's no question in my mind. She definitely wants to fuck Treudau, which explains the flags. And again, hundreds of thousands of views. And some guy sent me a note, and he's like, "You're the fucking devil." And I'm like, "You're welcome," because I fucking love getting it. Like, I'm using this as a moment, a teachable moment for Alberta. Yeah, please go ahead.
So I knew that was your strategy, Dean, and I applaud you for it.
Thank you. The moose is a fucking hell of a.
The moose is a great addition.
It really is.
Yeah. Here's Justin Treudau riding a moose to your girlfriend's house is brilliant. Honestly, I think the thing about Alberta,
before you go any further, you don't understand how angry that made people yesterday. I loved it.
That's a
sign.
I don't
know what it is.
That's a sign we're in trouble.
My like, Scotty, what's wrong with me? Like,
you love Twitter fighting with people.
I don't even fight it.
I get one negative tweet and I have anxiety for like a week.
Oh,
and you're like, and I'm always like, Dean, I'm so sorry that I brought this guy up. And you're like, oh yeah, whatever. It's just part of your day. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, someone in Sudbury doesn't like me. So what did I do?
You know what? Listen, for me, it's a game. There are a lot of people out there who think this is real. I'm of the opinion, because this is real, that's just a window on my phone. And if I can piss you off from 4,000 miles away and you're an asshole, you bet your ass I'm going to do it. And I'll probably stroke it while it happens, too, because it's masturbatory to me. Sorry, Locke, go ahead.
Okay.
I know you wanted to say something.
I just, here's the thing about Alberta. And I'm going to try to make this statement so that I can
keep him honest, Scott. Keep him honest in this conversation, because I've had different Alberta conversations with both of you. I phoned Scott one day and I'm like, Scott, is Alberta that fucked? And he's like, you don't even know the half of it.
Well, here's the thing. I think that
it's different in the South.
Alberta, and if you take a look at us as a whole, I think anybody from this province or anybody outside looking in at this province would be surprised at the disparity in the makeup of this province. There is a very strong anti-Treudau element here. There is a very strong right-wing element here. There is a strong religious sort of component to politics and belief structures, and it exists. But it also exists in Saskatchewan. It also exists in Manitoba. There's an element of that in BC. We seem to get labeled with it because maybe we're a little more vocal about it, and our politics is a little more extreme at times.
Or your premier's one of them.
Or our premier. Now, here's the thing. I actually had this belief structure that believed that Danielle Smith was just going to keep that seat warm for Notley. Okay. When Kenny got bumped out, and what happened to Kenny was Kenny got in because he represented something from the UCP party that they were comfortable with. The anti-liberal, he was very anti-liberal. He created the war room. He did all these things that really fed into the narrative that they want to see from that political party, from that stance. But then I think he realized when he got into power, because he's not an idiot, that he needed to adjust. He's a bit of an idiot. He's a bit, he's a bit that. Anyway, he ended up trying to sort of streamline his opinions and his positions and sort of warm himself up a little bit to the middle. And as soon as the people behind the scenes at the UCP that make the decisions saw that, they went, oh, fuck off. You're out of here. Danielle Smith, she's the one. Now, she's extreme. Now, the thing about Danielle Smith is
she's gross.
She isn't. She's going to ride this thing.
Looks like 10 pounds of shit shoved in a 5-pound bag? No?
I'm surprised that she's maintained the narrative, because everybody that gets into the leadership role of a major party at some point sits there and starts to reevaluate, okay, I've appeased the base. The base got me here. Now I need to win. Now, the reason why I'm a little bit concerned that she might actually win in the next election in a year and a half or whenever it is, Scott, you might have a better idea, is because here's why. The NDP and Rachel Notley in particular have done nothing to actually take her down. Like, they're not doing a very good job of knocking her down. And listen, I'm not an NDP fan. I can't wrap my head around the idea of voting NDP. That's another story. That's a longer story that we don't need to get into.
But orange is your least favorite color. We've talked about this, right? Like, you're a big color guy. It's like, I'm attracted to blue.
It's even more petty.
Oh, is it?
My stepfather and I hated, like, I had a real hard time with talking politics with my stepfather. He was a big NDPer, and I haven't been able to vote NDP since. So yeah, not very proud of that. But listen,
again,
the thing is, okay. I honestly thought
stepdaddy issues.
I honestly thought that she would do a better job of countering what Danielle Smith is doing. She is not. She's looking horrible, in my opinion, in the offense of in the position that she's supposed to be doing. This is why I'm concerned about PP. PP is very good as an offensive player, conservatively, if you take your own opinion out of it, he's very good at riling up the base. Notley is not doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
I have a suspicious feeling that Danielle Smith is going to ride the "we hate the Liberal government, Justin Trudeau is going to destroy our country."
That doesn't look like a woman who hates Justin Trudeau anymore, dude.
Dude, I think she's going to ride this into a win in Alberta. The problem
she's
is
at home practicing French in the bathroom in her underwear. That's what I think.
This is the same reason why Trump got in the States. A lot of people just wanted to see some kind of change.
Well, so hold it. Let me stop you there. Let me just bring Scotty into this part of the conversation too, because it is kind of in your situation, Danielle Smith and conservative politicians like her extremist loser asshole fucking religious country bumpkins, right? They're like, they have a moment from time to time, and that moment isn't that impressive. Like when Donald Trump was elected as president of the United States, it's because America and every racist in it left their hidey hole for a minute and went like, let's see if we can put a racist in the White House.
No.
Hold it. I don't think that's why. I don't think that's why.
That said, that's a large portion of it, but that said a lot about the state of the union, right? She having any popularity in your province whatsoever after the shit that she's said, the people she's hurt, the science she's ignored, all of it, the God that she puts in policy and education, all of it. The fact that Albertans think that she's even an option still, that just says a lot about Alberta. Like, you can sit there and go, we're a liberal province.
It's about the lack of options, Dean. It's not about that. You can't define what we're going to do in the next elections based on what we have. You can't. If we put her in power, which we might, and there's a good chance, it's about the lack of effort on the other part. Like, we don't have a liberal party here. It's non-existent. We don't have a second choice. And so there's going to be a lot of people that are going to go into that fucking booth and they're going to put a mark down and they're going to hold their nose. Yeah. Listen, after Trump got in, there was a lot of people that went in front of cameras and admitted openly, I can't stand the guy, but I wanted to see something change. And they held their nose and they vote. And this is the problem we have with politics right now with the lack of choice. The middle has zero representation. So they walk in there and they do what they think they need to do to side with the majority so that they can actually have an impact. Because if you're going into to vote and you feel this obligation to vote federally, provincially, municipally, whatever the case might be. If you don't have somebody on there that represents you, you put a mark down on there and then you walk out of there and you immediately feel guilty. Right. And the problem is we don't have choice in this province.
We don't have choice in this country, dude. Like, it's not just provincial. It's federal.
It's scary.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Especially here in Alberta, Locke. And I don't know, like, I think you've touched on a lot of interesting points here. You know, first of which is the fact that I think a lot of people expected Danielle Smith to kind of soften her tone a bit as soon as she became leader of the UCP. And she has not. In fact, she is, in my opinion, doubled down on that kind of separatist rhetoric that she is.
Do you notice the pearl necklace she was wearing? Notice that pearl necklace? You guys may have missed it. Yeah.
In Alberta, I do feel like we are a very divided province, and Locke is right, and that it really is a two-party province. It's the UCP and it's the NDP. Here in Lethbridge, half of the city voted an NDP MLA, and the other half did a UCP MLA. So that's how divided we are just as a city, and I feel like it's very. Oops, sorry, I muted myself. It's very much like that throughout the province. Also, I think that there's, by the way, Locke, the election is coming up this May. So move up your time frame in terms of how long Rachel Notley has to impress Albertans.
Hold on. We have a provincial election in May?
May 2023, general election.
Oh, yeah. Why did I think it was a year and a bit?
The race is on.
You kind of wish it was. And I think we all do. But we all do because we don't know. And I mean, you know, I've met Rachel Notley and she is lovely. She is a fine woman, and I think she worked real hard for the province. But, you know, and this is a conversation that I've had with some of my friends is she lost the last election, right? She lost. Yeah. How is she still the leader of the party? Typically, if you lose an election, you're done. Like time to find someone else.
You clearly haven't been to Ontario. We had Andrea Horvath lose every election for 15 years, and she's like, "I'm sticking around because that was a lot of fun. I'm just losing."
Well, Rachel was the premier.
Politics. What's that?
You know, Rachel was the premier. If Justin Trudeau loses this election, they're not going to keep him as the leader, right? Like they're going to find someone else. And so that's what didn't happen here in Alberta. Rachel Notley was the premier. She lost the election, and then she stayed the leader. And so I feel like there is a real lack of leadership capabilities within the Alberta NDP to really kind of bring up some of these people who, you know, could have a better chance against Danielle Smith. That's just my personal opinion.
You know what I wish we do? Stop talking about these people like they're important. I really do, because it's like literally going into a group home and finding the most capable person at this point when you're voting for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's all it is. We're literally surrounded by idiots that have no values, that don't care about you, that are that'll gaslight, lie, defame, libel, make the country worse on a daily basis with bullshit. On a daily to hourly to minute basis with lobby groups and troll farms and Canada Proud and fuck all of them. I mean, I'm at that point where I'm like, I could not advocate to vote for anybody or to get involved in any political process if you are successful in your life. That is not like that. That's the problem that I have, is because all we do is sit around and we talk about, well, this person and this strategy and that party and what they're doing and their ideology. Nobody ever talks about fucking character. Not once have we talked about the character of individuals when we talk about politics, right?
And I think that's the problem, Dean.
When we go around and around in these circles, and you'll see me glaze over like I'm fucking, oh my God, in my grandmother's house for 2 hours of mandatory visit time. When we talk about politics and who's doing what and who's voting for who, I could care less. We need to start talking about, and I said this to Mark Borey today, who's a tremendous guy. He's like a super media dude. He's a lawyer. He's one of the most educated people in the world. We were talking about the whole, I don't know if you guys saw the CBC this week. Did you see this? They're like, hey, by the way, we're out of TV and radio in the next several years. We're just moving to streaming online only because radio and TV are dead. Did you guys see that? Anybody happen to see that this week? Oh, yeah, it was a fucking great announcement.
I did see that. I think it makes sense.
Gave me a boner, actually. Gave me a digital bone ski. I was like, finally, someone who's in charge of mainstream media in this country, one of the outlets, one of the three, one of the four, finally admitted
they have all of their luxury of being able to do this because they get propped up by the taxpayers.
Well, so they're not publicly traded and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's a fucking awesome decision because you've been lied to this whole time by the media saying, no, radio's still a lot of fun. TV's still profitable. Don't worry about it. We get it done. I know it's CBC. Means nothing. But my point is that was then turned into a conservative attack ad against Justin Trudeau, saying that CBC's the mouthpiece of the Liberals. And at the bottom of that little conservative attack ad that Pierre Poilievre put out, it was fucking hilarious. He's like, sign up here and give me your email address so I can send you more of this stuff. That was the whole reason that they decided it. It was like, and I thought to myself, I sent it to Mark, and I'm like, basically Pierre Poilievre accused the CEO of CBC of being a partisan paid lobbyist on behalf of Justin Trudeau and the Liberals in this ad. And I'm like, the school I come from means that dude, what's Rebel? What's Canada Proud? They all do it. I mean, they all do it. And on top of it, and it's all the same. It's across the board. And we go through these waves of like, look what they did. And everybody's like, oh, they shouldn't act like that as a government. Meanwhile, the other guys are doing the same thing. And when they get in office, they'll do the same thing again because nothing changes. Because these people have no character. They have no values. They don't live by virtues. They live literally. Politics in Canada is not just a joke. It's a collection of unemployable fucking losers, former media people, teachers,
but it shouldn't be.
Assholes,
it shouldn't be.
Lawyers, people who have failed in real life, that are friends with the right person, that repeat the right messaging so that they can literally have access to the fucking PIN card of taxpayer bank account number one. So when you sit there and go, you know what? Pierre Poilievre's the best. Justin Trudeau's the best. Pierre Poilievre's the worst. Justin Trudeau's the worst. And you are a cultural fucking nightmare for the rest of us. The rest of us. Because you're literally doing their shit work for them. Like, You have Stockholm syndrome.
They're playing
if you. Send another fucking human being.
You're a complete and total pawn.
That says, you know what? Fuck you and your Treudau. He probably want his wiener up your butt. I know you. Like, you're the dumbest human being on the planet, and you're a rube, and you're a fucking piece in their stupid game of idiocy is what you are. But we sit here and fucking talk about it like it's a legitimate industry or business. It is not. These people are all fucking liars and failures in the real world that know the right people that go, fuck, let's all gather around the old oak tree and let's affect change. Scott, you wanted to say something. Sorry, I didn't mean to vamp.
No, Dean, you just laid out exactly why people voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Because they wanted someone who wasn't establishment. Oh, yeah, you know, I know what I'm going to get with Hillary. I want someone who isn't establishment. Boom, you get Trump. And so I think, and, you know, honestly, I say a lot of what you just said in my latest podcast, The Politicization of Bitcoin Will Not End Well, where I talk about, you know, politicians essentially using us as pawns, getting us to do their dirty work by getting us fired up about a topic of some kind. And so I think you're right on with your analysis.
Thanks, buddy. One thing I wanted to ask you too, speaking of cult of personality, because we live in that age, as much as I would love Elon Musk to fail at like everything, Tesla stock's up over $200 again today.
Yeah, it's up 100% from the low.
But it's not. But it's all imaginary.
And not only that, Dean, they just surpassed. Yeah. They just surpassed Toyota as the best-selling car in California.
All fake. It's all
the
fake.
Model Y is now the best-selling car in California. Not just the best-selling electric car.
Yeah,
the best-selling car. Take that, Tesla haters.
Yeah, suck it.
Look at hating Tesla.
Tesla's up 100% from the January 6th low. It took 24 days to the stock drop 50%, then 23 days to gain 100%. Life in the fast lane. That's a great tweet. Tesla, this is about 2 hours ago, up 92 points. Year to date, they're up.
Someone is going to lose. Someone is going to lose.
You guys are always grinding my gears when I say buy the dip. Every time I say buy the dip, you guys give me crap about it.
No, it's not about it. It's not. No, listen.
I know I should have bought the dip. No, we should have bought the dip. If I put $1 million into that stuff, Scott, let's just.
No, don't do it now. It's up to
No. When it was like 99 or $100, right? And if I put $1 million into Tesla stock at 99,
you would have made $1 million.
What am I taking out today?
Stop.
$1 million.
No, that would have. This is the problem.
This
is the problem. You're actually part of the problem, Dean. No, you're sitting here. This conversation is the reason why this still exists.
I'm into Justin Treudau and I'm into Elon. I'm changing everything this year.
I love how you've pivoted.
You guys, this is, and you know what? You know what all this is just sheep. It's just, well, we're all just fucking pawns in the whole scheme. It's all fake. None of it exists. People are getting rich and losing money every day, and it's all based on these types of conversations. It's not real. None of it's fucking real. And you guys desperately try to tell everybody it's real by pointing to some
but you don't work at stockmarketmentor.com. I want to talk to Scott about whether this is real or not. Hang on.
It's not real.
We know that we know Lachlan thinks this isn't real.
Are people that are spend all fucking day sitting there with computer screens all around them,
like Scott,
hoping that all these jackasses throw fucking money at it so that they can get rich off of it.
Okay,
all you had to do was use the Dean Blundell trigger. Every time Dean tweeted out something negative about Elon, you buy Tesla stock. Eventually, you'll make money. That's how it works. That's the signal.
So, Scott, now I want to dig into this a little bit. Okay,
all right,
because I'm a big Elon guy now.
Oh, I can tell. Yeah. I mean, now that he's been exonerated by the jury and he's not going to jail for 100 years like the last time I was on the show.
Yeah, he was going to jail for 100 years for the stock market 420 thing that he did. He wins the lawsuit. His stock price goes through the roof. He's a winner. I ride winners. That's all I do. I bet on winners.
None of it's fucking
Just let me finish with Scott before you tell him about his business. Okay?
You know how much money I could have made last night? I could have made $27 if McDavid would have scored a fucking goal.
Oh, did you do Bet365?
Exact same thing. You were betting on somebody actually doing that.
Let me finish with Scott before you tell us how the stock market is total mirage, which I believe it probably is to the largest extent. But anyway, Scott, how is this possible? How does he go from losing $200 a share to getting all that back and then some? How is this possible? How is it the most profitable car company in the world? What is fucking happening? And Locke, before you tell us, I would, if you don't mind, I'd like the director of our Hot Wallet podcast and our financial guy who plays markets all day long to answer this question before you. And I love you. I love everything you do, but I would like Scott's impression here. Scott, how is this possible? How does he keep coming up smelling like roses?
Tesla is the only really profitable car company in the world. I tweeted out something, I think, to one of your followers a little while ago, and you're like, oh, this would be a great blog. And it was all about kind of the profit that Tesla makes compared to the profit that other companies make. And so Tesla makes money on their cars. Ford really doesn't. I think the difference was, between like $20,000 and $700. So, Ford, per vehicle they sell, they make about $700. So when you're buying that, $60,000 Ford F-150, Ford, the company, only makes a couple $100 off of that sale. In fact, that they just announced that their new Mach-E electric vehicle, they're not making any money off of that because they just dropped the price. And so even though Tesla can drop the price of their cars, they still make money on all of their vehicles. And so that's one of the reasons. The market follows companies that make money and companies that have growth potential.
Okay, so before we get back to Lachlan, who says whatever you said is a lie.
He's chomping at the bit.
Yeah, I know. So Ford, domestic, some foreign car companies in general make several $100 to $1,000 on a car, right?
Per vehicle.
Per vehicle.
Yeah.
Tesla, if I'm not mistaken, makes something like $9,175 per vehicle, right?
Yeah. Roundabout.
That is unbelievable. And that little piece of information that you put out, I was like, well, there it is. Like, that's the reason. Mm-hmm. The reason is that smart people have done that work and they've gone, wait a second, he makes 10 times the profit these other cars make per car. Well, let's put our money behind that guy, right?
Yeah.
And, it's
there's a lot of reasons for that.
Believe in that. I'm sure there are, like processing, manufacturing, all that other
unions.
Shit, right?
Unions, all of them, General Motors. If you worked at General Motors 20 years ago, you're probably still getting money from General Motors. And so that's one of the reasons that, people like Joe Biden and whatnot, they don't like Elon because, number one, none of his factories are unionized. And so anytime, they have an electric car event at the White House, for example, they had one, and they will have the people from Ford there. They'll have the people from GM because they're all unionized, but they won't invite Tesla, even though arguably Tesla modernized the electric car and made it, viable for.
Well, and Elon might be a cock. Okay. Here's
the thing. I don't think that
Scotty. Here's the thing. I want you to hear from me.
I don't think it matters.
I would love to.
I don't care. I don't care if anybody else is listening.
Hang on, I need to prepare myself.
Yeah, let me put you on full screen, Locke, because I'm dying to hear this too.
This is going to be
Scotty.
Good.
No, hold on. Put him back because I need to make eye contact with him.
Okay.
Scotty, I know that you are going to continue to be successful because you're a smart man, and everything in me right now, I swear to God, because a lot of people might not believe this. I'm a decent person. I care about my friends. I want you to be successful.
Great guy. One of my favorite.
I'm a good guy.
Great guy.
The thing about what you're doing right now, and I know you can't really speak to this because it will jeopardize what you
being on the podcast.
No.
This is more jeopardizing to my career than anything else. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it's because of me, and I apologize for that. I know that you, regardless of what happens in the markets, you're going to be able to negotiate what happens, and you're going to be able to manipulate it in such a way that you're going to be able to make enough money for you and your family. And I want that. I want in 6 months from now, I want to hear that we couldn't have you on because you're on your way for another holiday to Hawaii because you made so much money. I need that to happen in my life. And I know
it's private jet.
I know it's going to happen because here's why. I know it's going to happen because you're really good at what you do. And if anybody is listening that wants to get into stocks and quit their job and do it full time, I would wish them all the luck in the world. Do it. Fuck trade Bitcoin for all I care. The problem with what it is that you do is that the reason why you guys all make money is because there's a bunch of assholes like me who have no fucking clue what they're doing and throw their money, grandmas and all these people, they give you this money so that you guys can make a living from it. And without us making mistakes and fucking up the market so that you guys can take advantage of it, you have nothing. So my advice to everybody else is stay the fuck away from it. And we haven't got enough of a reach right now for me to have an impact on completely destroying the markets. But let's say I was able to talk to everybody on the planet and I just said, hey, listen, you need to listen to me. Stop fucking around with this shit because you are at a disadvantage if you don't do it full time.
So you can I add just a point of clarification, just to ask you a question, then you can continue.
Yeah.
What you're suggesting is that if you had a bigger platform than this, you could force the stock market to close down.
I could crash the entire financial system. And I could, because without all the dumb fucking people to throw their money at you guys so that you guys can make a living, you got nothing. And that's the problem with the financials, and you know it, and that's why you're being so quiet, Scott.
No, I don't think so. Like honestly, anyone, what I recommend is if you don't have time to dedicate to investing actively, give your money to a money manager who does it professionally. It's not a game and it's not gambling. You're talking about betting on a Conor McDavid
game.
That is worse.
Purely on
buying a lottery ticket is worse.
Money.
Locke, I don't know how. Listen, I don't know at what point you were anointed with the information that nobody else has to take down the stock market. I also am not aware of where it is that you've arrived, how you've arrived. It's incredible how you've arrived at this space where you're going to tell the guy that literally works and helps run stockmarketmentor.com, one of the most savvy investors and educators in that space, that what he's doing not only
Scott,
doesn't work, but you're out to end all of it. Like,
I'm right.
No, you're not. It's
I'm
a
totally
very
you're right.
I
think
very
like
real throwing money at this and it going up and down and him taking advantage of it. He's got nothing.
How am I taking advantage of anyone? I don't trade anyone's money.
Yeah, you do.
And if
buy this,
no, I don't. I trade my own account. I trade my own account. And the thing is, Locke, like this is so funny because people say the same thing about people said the same thing about crypto. You know, when I was on here a while ago, I remember one comment. Someone said something like, "Well, you know, don't you want me to buy your Bitcoin so it goes higher?" And I'm just like, "Bro, you think your $500 is going to move the market for me?" Like, hell no.
That's why I have zero impact on your life.
$40 a day? You think your $40 a day is going to move the S&P 500? No, you're a drop in the bucket. Heck, I'm a drop in the bucket. What I do is leverage technical analysis so that my small drop in the bucket moves with the big drops in the bucket. That's all we do as active investors. We look for the momentum.
Smart. You spend all day figuring out what the people that make money off the backs of everybody else are doing. And that's how you're fucking making a living.
No. It's different. No. You do understand when you give your money to a project on the market, you're investing in a business you think will go well, right? You know that.
That's what it's all about.
Stock. It's stock.
But what you're doing is like
it's all based on speculation. And what is speculation?
Lots of it.
Based on what everybody's fucking saying about that stock.
But there has to be some meat behind the speculation. Like there's got to be a spreadsheet, an Excel sheet.
That's why they sit there and stroke it so much behind the scenes.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Anybody that's in the stock market or in the Bitcoin,
I haven't been at that part of the bank.
How great it's doing that.
Where is that? Is that behind the frosted glass?
Yeah,
what they're doing now.
It's underneath every vault at TD, Scotia.
Take your money, get it out of the banks immediately.
Where are you going to put it, Locke?
Get it out of the stock. Put it in your fucking backyard. It'll make you more. Bury it in your backyard.
Yeah, ask any drug dealer how burying money has worked out. Have you seen Narcos?
Yeah,
it all ends up all gross.
It rots. You can't listen. You don't want.
No, man. I mean, the market generally goes up. You know, the market generally goes up, and if you have a long-term time horizon, the market rewards you. I mean, that's what retirement planning is. If you have money coming off of your check every month, you're not looking at the price in which these asset allocators are buying shares of things with, but you are looking for the power of compounding gains over time, knowing that, okay, I'm going to make money when the market goes up, but I'm only going to be able to buy a certain amount of shares. And then when the market goes down, I'm going to make less money, but I'll be able to buy more shares so that when it does round out, it all kind of evens out. The growth curve kind of smooths a little bit. Okay. And that's what compounding gains is over time. As an active investor, I just do that, but on a shorter term time frame.
I want you to be successful, Scotty.
On a daily basis.
I want you to go on vacations to Hawaii. I love you.
Lachlan.
I love you, buddy.
Before I let everybody here go.
Fucking griff.
No. By the way, it's called a grift. There's a T at the end of that. It's not a griff. It's a grift.
Sorry.
Grift. Yeah, no T. Yeah. It's okay. Just out of curiosity, how would you take down all the world's stock markets?
If all the dumb people stopped giving them their money, you're done. All the sheep. If we all back out.
Yeah, but what's your strategy? How do you get to the sheep? How do you talk to the sheep?
It's not going to happen, Dean. Right. Because people live for that dream. You did it. You did it at the beginning of this conversation. You were talking, if I had just, if I had put $1 million yesterday on Tesla, you know how rich I would be? That's the conversation.
I am sorry. Listen, here, I'm going to apologize to Elon Musk right now. Okay. Elon, I'm sorry. Scott was right. You're very successful. I should have bought Tesla at $100, and I didn't buy the dip. And Locke, if you bought the dip instead of buying real estate, now that you're a real estate magnate, you don't have to worry about it. If you bought the dip, you'd have an easy $1 million in a month. Easy $1 million in a month. But you didn't.
It doesn't work that way. If I would have bought in,
we're dumb.
If I would have bought in, it would have crashed. And Tesla would have got under.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, they would have said, "Oh, this is Lachlan Cross's
$500.
Time to flush."
When he put $500 in his hot wallet, in his Shake Pay wallet last year, he put it in the day it started to decline, and then he took it out at its lowest point ever. And I'm like, "How'd it go?" He's like, "It's fucking that." So that's what's coming out here today. By the way, it's his anger at things that he invests in that he doesn't understand.
It's just about knowing when to invest. And, I talked about this on Brenton's Did Will podcast recently, where I said, look, when everyone else is bearish, when everyone else says, wow, Tesla's going to zero, that's the time you need to pay attention because, as an active investor, it's really important to be a bit of a contrarian. When everyone was on the one side and I was on this side where I thought, wow, Bitcoin's going to 100,000 for sure. Everyone thinks so. Guess what happened? The exact opposite. And when everyone said, oh, here we go, Tesla's 100, next stop 50, guess what? The opposite happened. And so it's about reading the room and knowing when one side of the trade is too heavy.
You know what happens when you talk to people that invest
trades
and they make money? Brilliant. It's the same conversation you have with your grandmother every time she goes to Vegas. How'd you do? I won. No, you didn't. No, you didn't, Lois. You went down and you lost fucking $2,500 because you always lose. It's Vegas.
Do you guys still have VLT machines in every bar out there? Do you guys still have VLT machines in all the bars?
I think so.
Oh, fuck, dude. You can't go to a Boston Pizza without a VLT gambling.
I haven't seen them at BP's.
Western Canada.
They're all over BP's.
Western Canada is literally like they've got these things called video lottery terminals. VLTs.
Yeah.
And they came in when I was still in Alberta, 17, 18, 19, high school, university. And I remember walking into a pub and my friend was there and he had a fucking problem. And so my friend was there and we were going to meet this guy. Our volleyball team was going to meet our university team. Was going to go meet this. We're all going to have a. We're in this pub and he won't come and join us for a team meeting because he's on a heater. He's on a heater at the VLT, and he's sitting next to 5 other guys. One of them, I'm shit you not, was Burton Cummings, who was at that VLT the entire fucking time.
Bert's
were there.
A total coin tosser.
Oh, yeah. It was unbelievable. And I'm like, these people know that these are rigged, right? Like these are just cash machines for the government to collect spare change from drunk idiots in pubs.
No,
do they know that? Oh, it's totally
girlfriend's
rigged.
Mother's sister. She won $1,500 on the weekend. Go fuck yourself. That's
much
the
girlfriend's
same thing.
mother's-
It's the same thing as the stock market.
Your girlfriend's
There's
mother's
always some
sister? Is that what you said? Your girlfriend's mother's sister won 1,500. Does your wife know about your girlfriend? Yes or no?
Listen, I'm pulling that out of my ass. Okay.
Okay.
I'll tell you a story. This actually was one of a pivotal moment in my youth. One of my first gigs, 1994. I got a job in Edson, Alberta, at YR Radio. We affectionately refer to it as Why Are You Listening Radio? And I did evenings. And I was living in an apartment building about 5 minutes away from the radio station. I was there for about 6 months without my wife. She was still back in Vancouver, and she planned our wedding in September that year. I went back 1994. I got married, and then I brought my beautiful bride to Edson, Alberta, and I had
What
this
was on
apartment.
what was on the wedding dining menu? Maybe you want to include that.
I don't even
in those
remember.
details.
I blacked out at some point around the ceremony.
You were giving us
I don't
all the
remember any
details
of
of the past several years, so I thought maybe you'd include the menu.
Anyway, no,
too.
it's important.
Okay.
So my wife and I have a compulsion for addictive. I have an addictive personality. I could easily go down the path of gambling, smoking, crack, heroin. I'm an
Sex.
alcoholic. There's a bunch of things you could probably sign me up for. I stayed away from this, and this is why I stayed away from gambling. So my wife and I are moving into the apartment building. Okay, and it's a complex of places. Shitty little apartment building, doesn't matter. And the police are there while we're moving in, and they're arresting some woman. And I'm like, what's going on here? So I'm very curious. So I ask a neighbor that's everyone's out gawking, and they're all like rubbernecking, right? And I ask a neighbor next to me that I'm moving into, what's going on? And they're like, oh, that's Brittany. She took all of our checks from last month's rent, liquidated them, and went to the native casino and lost it all. So they're here arresting her. And to me, that was a big, like, you can have a problem, right? She was the caretaker of the building. She took all the money from the rent and blew it at the casino.
Not even on VLT. I hope she was playing blackjack. She was doing slots.
No slots. She lost it all, which must have taken her a week.
Has anybody here ever played slots? Like fucking, slots is like.
Never.
I think you have to. You got to be 100 years old to go. This is a fucking blast. Like seriously.
Vegas.
I played him in Las Vegas.
Vegas. I put $20 in. Pulled the lever 3 times.
That was a shock to me. That was a shock to me. As I found out that a lot of people in their senior years in Vegas, they go prepped with diapers just because they don't want to leave the slot machine because they've put so much money into it. They don't want to get up and leave to have a dump because it might pay out when they go to the bathroom. Were you one of those guys?
I never had that problem.
One of those. You didn't?
I didn't have that problem. No.
You should.
But I did forget about the VLTs. I haven't been out in a while, especially to places that have VLTs inside.
Yeah.
And yeah, Alberta is a lot like Las Vegas in that way. And I remember being shocked coming from Ontario, being like, "Well, I'm at a bowling alley. What's that over there?" Oh yeah, those are the slot machines people can play. And I was like, "Whoa, what kind of
they're
world
everywhere.
is this?"
They're in convenience stores, hotel lobbies, pubs, and they're not nice places to like. You're not going to get a fucking
and
great
it's ruining
hotel,
people's
W
lives.
Hotel. Oh yeah,
every day.
Awesome.
Right now, someone is losing all their money. Someone's going to pick up their
the
truck.
kids' milk and food money. Yeah.
You can actually do it on your phone now too. That they made it so you have the VLT. You can play digital VLTs on your phone through the Play Alberta website,
and it's sponsored by the province of Alberta.
Yeah, they just
want really care about your mental health.
They don't,
and your stability. And you know what? They take the money that they make and they buy advertising on terrestrial radio, warning you about the dangers of losing your fucking money. That's the beautiful thing I love about gambling. Is not only are we're
and I love how they put them in bars too, where it's like, let's put these in bars, and because listen. Someone's going to be wasted down to their last beer. They're going to have $10 in their pocket, and they're going to think, fuck, maybe I could just roll this 10 into a 50 and have 4 more beers. and then they lose it. And then
Look
they
at Danielle
freak out.
Smith's face. Does she look like anyone who cares about other people's mental health?
Well, she
go with
eats
no.
horse paste to keep away the boogeyman. So, yeah, no, she doesn't. Listen, can I be honest, too? She has not aged well at all. I know she's only 51. But
She's in her 50s. She's not doing too bad.
No, she's not doing great. I wouldn't. I'll tell you that right now. Like, even if it was like Last Dance, Last Dance where you're looking around, you're like, slim pickings. And if she was one of the people, I'd be like, yeah, I'll just go home and masturbate. Sorry, it's just how I feel about it.
I'm going to just choose not to say anything right now.
I wasn't commenting on her age, by the way. I just meant her demeanor, not her looks.
Well, I meant her looks.
She does. Somebody earlier in the comments, she does look a little like Sarah Huckabee from the Trump administration.
Yeah, she really does.
She does look a little like she has a Sarah look. I don't think she's not a supermodel. Bad. She's 50.
Yeah, not bad.
She's fine.
Scott Trades at Scott Trades, stockmarketmentor.com, Hot Wallet. Is it hotwallet.ca or hotwallet.com?
Hotwallet.ca, and I am booking guests for our 2023 interview season. So I do have a few guests lined up, and I am getting the pods out as soon as possible. If everyone could do me a favor and subscribe to my podcast on YouTube, and then please leave a review on Spotify or wherever you listen, and give a listen to my newest one that's all about the politicization of Bitcoin. It's not really political. It's more about just thinking for yourself and not getting trapped into a narrative from any political party, whether that's, the conservatives or the liberals.
Get your my money opinion out of the stock market and
don't listen to Locke.
Don't listen to Locke. Don't listen to Locke.
All of you, everybody.
Nope. He has no idea. He is absolutely not the guy you want to talk to about the stock market. Hot Wallet, go subscribe, YouTube channel. Make sure you rate it. Leave a nice review. Anywhere you get your fine podcasts. Hot Wallet is very good. Scott is a tremendous educator.
I don't know
very
why
entertaining.
He keeps coming back.
And I
I
don't think he'll be back now after that whole diatribe where you're going to take down the stock market, which will probably be shortly after you write that.
No one will listen to me. Like I'm going to have any impact on it?
No, dude, we barely listened today.
Truth. Thanks, guys.
I have to urinate.
That is my friend Lachlan Cross. Follow him at Lachlan Cross on Twitter.
I got to go write my book.
You, buddy. Yeah. Appreciate it. Great to see you, Scotty. Great to see you too. Have a great day. Appreciate you being here, brother. And thank you for listening. Really appreciate everybody being here today, too. We kind of didn't get to Ezra Levant. We will tomorrow because that's a story, too. Fucking guy. The fucking guy sued a politician that blocked him online and won. Fucking wild. The Ezra Levant show continues. I know something about him, though. Something that's really gross. Actually, 3 things about him that's very gross. And it lives in that like hinterland of if I say this, then I might get in trouble, but it might be fun to get in trouble for that. And it'll be the end of Ezra's career as a fake news person. Anyway, I'll think about it. But we'll talk about Ezra suing the government and winning. Because a couple guys blocked him. That'll be tomorrow, which will be Thursday. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. As always, brought to you by our friends at Cantork, Canada's assembly tool experts. Bolting, fastening, loosening project, doesn't matter what it is. These are the best torque wrenches in the world. They prefab everything to spec. It is awesome. They do everything in Canada, and they service every heavy industry that needs a beautiful, hardworking, rugged, very specific custom torque wrench. They are the leading industrial tool experts in this country. Sales, service, rentals, calibration, proudly Canadian. All their manufacturing, all their design, all of their sourcing right here in this beautiful country that we call Canada, that we all know and love, despite how we all feel. This is a great story. This is a guy that decided that Canada was the best bet for him and his people, and he brought it back to Canada, and he services the mining industry, railroad industry, nuclear tech industry. Yeah, like the big nuclear power plants. So imagine how big the nuts are on those things. Imagine how huge the nuts are there. But listen, Colin is an incredible human being, and he'll get your solution if you're looking for a bolting solution, loosener, fastener, torque wrench, mining solution, heavy equipment solution. Doesn't matter what it is, oil sands, railroad. This guy does it all, and his company is incredible out of Edmonton, Alberta. Go to cantorque.com today. Hey, how about Rob Kivlikin and kivlaw.ca? Defense lawyers in Southern Ontario, the best. They help people get their life back, and they practice criminal defense law, and they are available 24/7. If you're up against it, doesn't matter what it is. Could be a white-collar crime, could be an assault, could be something to do with civil litigation. He knows his client's needs, and he actually sits and talks to you, and then you tell him what's going on. And then he crafts a plan for you to be able to not just get out of trouble, but learn from your experience. That's what great defense lawyers do. That's what good legal people do, is they actually take care of the individual. And I cannot say enough about the good people at kivlaw.ca. So if you're in Southern Ontario and you have a legal solution that you're looking for, that's your guy. That's my team, Robert at kivlaw.ca. Get in touch with him for more details. Also, added Ed's Fine Imports, his Gitch. We wear them. You have to wear them. You have to. They're the best underwear on the planet. Boxer briefs. Pouch in the front, tons of colors. If you go to edsfineimports.com, he'll send you a free pair when you check out. You buy a few things. Gitch3 is your promo code. When you pump that in, he'll send you a free pair of underwear. Luxury branded boxer briefs with this incredible pouch in the front. It's like a tree fort for your nutsack. It is. So head to Ed's Fine Imports today. Clothing for men and boys. Shop online. Get an extra 15% off when you check out as well if you leave your email address. He does not spam. Doesn't spam. Just a good Canadian dude. Selling Canadian-made underwear. Again, made in Canada. By Canadians for Canadians. That's why the pouch is bigger. Anyway, that's it for us. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow right here on this very program. Thank you for spending some time with us today. I say it all the time, but it means a lot to us. Like a ton. So see you tomorrow around 4. Bye.